You know what's funny about that? Like, I can tell you every time when I was younger and I always brought friends around my parents, they always told me, like, that one,
But
they
you
can
know
still
what,
come
though, but
over, you can still
sometimes they
hang
be
with them, but
right.
they gonna mess you over in the long run. And they always ended up being right.
Yeah. My parents told me when I was in high school, my mom and dad used to know from rip. Like, my friends, they were like, this one gotta go. And I used to fight them like, oh, you can't tell me who my friends can be. You can't tell me. But still to this day, we are on complete different paths. Like, I had a best friend. I love this girl. We loved each other. We used to sleep over all the time and all that stuff. My parents did not like her. They did not like her parents at all. And now we really are two completely different people.
Parents know best. You know, we might not want to listen to them as a child.
Fake friends too that will pretend like they'll come on mom, like they'll come to your home.
Like, I'm not gonna go to your house and put my feet on the table and all of that.
You're
stuff.
supposed to be extra polite when you're at someone
parents.
else's house, especially in the African household.
First thing on my list, what I would tell my 18-year-old self is no raw dogging.
Oh my God.
All right, let me clean it up. Let me clean it up.
My God. How are you going to clean that up?
I know they had sex education in high school.
That's fine.
You know STDs?
You know what? No, I ain't never caught no STDs.
Oh, just making
very
sure.
lucky, but I'm also very safe. But I feel like I firmly believe that you can't fall in love with somebody when you're using condoms.
What?
And that's what I believe. Let me finish.
Y'all agree?
It's no connection. There's no connection. Like, there's a latex barrier between y'all. So having sex at a very young age and not using condoms and, like, you know, you falling too much in love with a girl or a girl falling too much in love with you and, like,
Hold up. Nah, go ahead. I'm gonna let you digest it. Go ahead.
I can't digest that.
So you being in her is not
I'm just saying.
It's different. That's what she's
without,
saying.
yeah, okay.
Because
This number one on y'all list?
Okay.
All I gotta say is I would tell my 18-year-old self, no raw dogging. I wish I would have used condoms more. I feel like my relationships would have been a lot more healthier.
All right.
They would have ended a lot earlier. Probably could have met some more of those fish in the sea instead of sticking because we were so connected because we didn't have the barrier in between us. When you guys are having sex and you use a condom, there's literally a physical latex barrier between you and that person, like, falling in love with each other. I always tell girls all the time, like, if you don't like that dude, make sure you wear a condom because you can't fall in love with condom dick. It's the same thing. You can't fall in love with condom pussy. So there's literally a physical barrier keeping you guys from connecting.
I don't have no comments.
You can't fall in love with condoms.
I can't.
Wait.
I can't
No,
even.
go ahead. No, because you know what? I agree with you. Has anybody seen that YouTube video of Dick Gonna Make You Slap Somebody?
No.
Watch that video. It's about this pastor. And it was a pastor, and she was in front of an audience, and she talked about how the penis is a vessel, and like when it's
church?
true,
She
yeah,
had
in
a penis
church.
in church?
Guys, go watch. It's
So she was
hilarious.
just up there like,
no, she
and
didn't.
God
She was just
said-
talking about how
Oh,
they
I'm
gonna
about
make
to
you
say.
slap somebody,
Okay,
and she's
all
right
right.
because the connection,
What
like
kind of church is
the skin to skin connection. You have to remember that you're absorbing. Like
Absolutely,
sex is
yeah.
more spiritual. Like a lot of. No, but it's true. And no, the condom, you see the condom.
You see, people just, I always say this, we think too much about the flesh. You know, there's a reason, sex when you're having casual sex versus sex when you're in love. That should already tell you that, like, sex is a vessel for us to really connect spiritually. And whether you connect with the person spiritually or not, that spiritual exchange is taking place because sex is very valuable. It's how we create life. Think about that. You know, it's how we continue as human beings. It's how we are intimate with each other. And so for you to think that your soul and your heart and all this is not participating in the exchange, you're dumb. And that's why there's they're sexually transmitted demons.
A lot of y'all on the stage are trying to act like y'all can't relate, and that's fine, but all I have to say...
I agree with you.
I'm just saying. Think about the people that you've had unprotected sex with, and think about the people that you've had protected sex with. Who had better sex?
First of all, you should start every relationship with condoms. You should start with condoms first of all.
What you starting for if you're not gonna finish?
You don't know what somebody has. A lot of STDs don't have symptoms, okay?
So I really get mad because all my friends know, like, I don't use condoms, but I never really have used condoms, but I'm always at the doctor. But everybody on this stage tries to sit here and get surprised, and they're just like, I told myself at 18 I'd stop raw dogging because I was raw dogging at 18, but that's why I'm saying it. Like, I told myself not to raw dog anymore. But everybody on the stage is trying to sit here and act like they've never raw dogged before, and I bet you like $5 for each person, they're all out here raw dogging. I don't understand where the lies are coming from.
That's your first. What if she's your first and then she's your first, and you guys know that, you guys have established that
That's
she's
still
a virgin.
using the condom if
So
you don't
I
know
don't
what
think
you're
you should
doing.
use a condom in that process. I guess maybe that's
I agree.
I disagree.
No, she's also a virgin.
Hold on. Because look, you can still get her pregnant. There's still things that can happen from
Yeah.
that. Come on, man.
Game on 1,000.
No.
yeah.
You can get pregnant from pre-com.
Yes.
No.
5% chance. 5% chance.
But just because she's a virgin doesn't mean that we don't have something to give her as
But
well.
obvious-
STD, we
but
can have
obviously,
STDs as well.
I'm not gonna be stupid to give somebody a disease.
But you
If
don't
this is
know
somebody
that.
I do
But
how
know
about
that
if you
because
got-
I
but
get
how
tested.
about if you have it?
Well, that's
No.
how you get tested.
So
You
what
get
What
happens-
if it's
tested.
between
But what happens
you
if
get
you do have it?
I do get tested, so I
know, but what happens
Were
if
you
you
getting
do have it
tested
though?
at 18? Were you
Listen,
thinking
I'm
like,
not
let me
doing
go
that.
get tested at
No,
18?
you
And
weren't.
be honest.
Check this
Be
out.
honest.
Check this out. That's a bloody problem.
But
I don't
my-
want, bro.
Were
I'm
you
good.
getting tested at
But my
18?
18 self knows that I didn't have it.
No,
Were
you
you
don't
getting
know.
tested at 18?
How do you know that though?
Yeah, we all do, right?
No.
No, it's a lie.
Were you getting? I'm asking
Time out.
Milan. Were you getting tested at 18?
No,
Yes
I
or
wasn't.
no?
I'm gonna be honest, no. But then
So how do you know if you have
Right.
a STD
But
or
it's
not?
not. It's different. Like you having sex with a virgin with a condom. It doesn't.
That's a virgin. What about you?
I understand what Kudera was saying. You know, if you're having sex with a condom, is the feeling is different. So it's just like if you're having raw dog, or what they say, raw dog. It's different because you have a connection. This is like a flesh to flesh thing. So the connection with your spouse or your fiance is different from having sex with a condom on. It's like, okay, cool, you're one of those.
Okay, listen. She has to protect herself. That's what she's saying.
Yes.
If you had 10 partners before her and she's on you and you're number one, that means you are polluting her. So that's the
What you mean I'm polluting her?
You
If I know I don't have
are.
anything,
You
you said you didn't
I don't
get
have
tested.
it. But I don't have
How
it.
do you know that?
But we have science of we have science.
No,
right?
a lot of the times we don't even know that you have it until you go get
Let me
tested.
take your
Johnson,
point
alive and
further.
healthy,
Let
man.
me
We
take
don't
your
know.
point further. When two human beings have sexual intercourse, there's a part of their spirit that usually. Hold on, please, no, hold on. I'm saying something. There's a part of their spirit that usually interchanges, and so you having sex with 10, you're transmitting sexual transmitted demons. Like she has to protect herself. That's the thing. You know, a lot of people don't think that demons are transmitted during sex. So you gotta wear the condom. Like for real, guys, you gotta protect yourself from the demons as well.
I started driving that.
A sexually transmitted demon is a demon or a demonic habit that you catch during sex or while having sex. And I will explain this. So for instance, you know, it's a lot of situations where people just start acting differently after having sex with the same girl all over and over. You know, all of us, or man, you know, before they were kind and everything, all of a sudden they're just like jumpy and like they got a demon. And you know, I know it sounds crazy, but I know a lot of you, even watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you've engaged intimately with somebody and it could be casual, it could be anything, and then all of a sudden you're wondering, why do I have these demons? Why do I have these spirits? Why do I feel like I'm just angry all the time? And they gave you a demon. You gotta sage, you know, you gotta be mindful about who you're having sex with. Don't get caught in their demons.
All right, so now, what was the second thing you'll tell your 18-year-old self?
So I would tell my 18-year-old self to create the person you want to be. Basically, it doesn't matter where you came from. It's where you're going. It's where you are at now. So personally for me, I hate being a victim. Whatever the situation is, I'm not a victim. I'm going to pick up wherever I left off and I'm going to move on. And I think that's something that we all need to practice because people don't define you. People can't create you because like some people, you know, they'll go through something and they'll
Revert back to.
Right, they'll revert back to the same thing again. So I'm just saying, like, create the person that you want to be and basically be more aware. Like, I guess that's the whole thing of me going to therapy because I didn't want to be the product of my environment.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a
So,
fact. That's
create the person you want to be, basically.
I think I've been speaking like I'm the person in the family. Like I know my family didn't do this in their generation and generation before. I want to be the one to graduate college. I want to be the one to be a millionaire. I want to be the one to take care of my entire family. Like it's just things I want, stepping stones I want to set for my generation. And then if I have kids, I want them to do better for me. So I could like really, agree to what you're saying for real. You know what I mean?
Same here.
Word.
All right. So, the second thing I would tell my 18-year-old self is, save your money.
That's
Save your money.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's non-existent.
Yeah.
Vocab.
And you know the
Some of us
reason?
need help today.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is because I got my first job when I was 16, and I was working in retail, and I think for a 16-year-old, I was making pretty good money, like, at that time anyway, like, for 16, I think I was still in high school. I had my first car or whatever. I really didn't have any big bills. I had my phone bill and gas. It wasn't, but I was making decent money for that age anyway.
Right.
And I wasn't really saving like that. I would get money, pay my phone or whatever, get gas, and I'm going out with my friends and doing all these things. And I think back on what I was making, and I'm like, if I was saving what I was making then all the way till now, I could have really used that money to invest in something. I could have flipped it. I could have done all types of things, but I just wasn't thinking like that. I was getting my hair done and getting my nails done.
Shopping.
And
You was
always
shopping.
fly.
Yeah.
You was fly.
Listen,
I mean, that's fine and all, but you know what it is, though? I look back and I'm like, damn, I was working for free because, no, wait, because I was working in a clothing store. And the discount.
And then you left it all there.
I would get my
That's
check,
crazy.
and then I'm buying clothes. I'm like, y'all got me working for free. But one thing I will say, though, is I think that when you have strong, responsibility with money at a young age, it really does carry you all the way through, especially with your credit and things like that. I don't think that 18-year-olds be thinking about credit like that.
And our parents don't even tell us these things, so we're
Right.
like,
That's literally my life right now.
Yeah.
I got my first credit card last year.
That's
And
good.
that's horrible. That's because my parents never taught that to me.
But I ruined my credit right when I was a freshman, so I'm saying in a way it's good.
No, it's not good because I can't get anything. I can't get in my own apartment. I can't get anything in my name because I have no credit history.
But I messed up mine. I'm like, now I have to rebuild it. So I'm like,
So we both messed up.
I had to rebuild.
Man, I'm going to tell y'all youngins out there what good credit means. Leave alone good credit, what credit means. Because I was never taught what credit was. I was never taught what a credit card was. You have to, once you get to an age where you can trust yourself, you have to go in, you have to get a credit card. You have to learn the rules with getting a credit card. Because I'm over here learning right now at this age what I'm supposed to do. I messed up. I messed up the last 3 payments because one person told me, don't spend over 30%, but leave a balance so it shows that you have activity. So every credit card that I was paying off from last year, I left a little bit of a credit. And they was like, no, because I could pay it off if I wanted to. And they're like, no, you're supposed to pay it off. So somebody else had to tell me that, so I'm learning as an adult how to deal with credit. So, man, educate yourself on credit. You need credit. Don't let your parents or your family members use your name because that will always come back.
So we're gonna go to Yazzie now.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So my second point is not every situation needs a reaction. So when
that.
at 18, we was reacting. I feel like everybody either negatively or harshly or just mad at the world sometimes. I know me personally, I was really, really mean. I was just no, I'm not mean. All right, Milan. All right. Now, I was I had a really bad relationship with my mother. I was always reacting. She was like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And I was just oh, you're really mean to her. And then looking back at that, I was wow, she's right. I didn't even need to blow up at her like that. I didn't even need to stop talking to her for 3 days. That 3, I'm just saying,
I was mean, like, cause I was a jock in high school, so like I was on the softball team, and you know, all the ladies, all the men liked me. They want to hang out with me and chill with me, and like I got a little bit too comfortable in the wrong crowds, and I feel like being mean at that time was like cool, and it wasn't.
Like, you know,
That was me too. Yeah, that's true.
I think it comes with maturity. Like, you know, like me myself, I had to realize that too. Like, I used to just, like, I was the type of dude, you say something stupid, I'm slapping you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, you know.
That's why you have to go to jail, because you're slapping people.
You know what I'm saying? But
whoa. Why are you over here slapping people? For what? Because they say something you don't like?
hey, listen, check this out.
That's bad.
Listen.
I don't like it.
What I said was, that's who I was.
Okay,
That ain't who I am. So, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you got to hear the whole context. You know what I mean? Slow your roll, sis. Slow your roll, sis. Slow your roll, sis.
But no, I'm saying, like, you
Slow your roll, sis.
it's dangerous out there. You can't be out here
Hey,
slapping
well, listen,
people.
we all had a past. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Unfortunately, mine was a dark one. So, you know, hey, if I'm not on your high horse, then cool, you know? At the end of the day, you know, the Gerard of 2019 is a gentleman. You know, I'm a gentleman now. The things I used to do in the streets, you know, we can play a high horse of who we are now and what we choose to look down upon, but at the end of the day, we all were someone, we all did something, we all, you know, had mistakes, and we all had downfalls that we may not be proud of, whether we want to say them or not. Me personally, I'm very transparent, and that's just me now. You know, I have nothing to hide, so if you know, ask away. So her saying, basically, you know, me slapping someone is, you know, a look down, or listen, you know, it was a time in my life where I didn't care. I was fearless. I wanted to fight. You know, a lot of that had to do with my childhood, which I was getting into, but, you know, she failed to, you know, let me answer the question as usual.
Awesome. I'm glad you moved on.
The prestigious life that you did.
Okay.
So, anyways, you know what I'm saying?
What's your second point?
I think it's getting a little. I need to focus on my point. You know, I need to cloud. Anyway, I'm dramatic, y'all. Anyway, so for me, my second point to my 18-year-old self is, do not let your country, Kenya, break you. Your passion is valid and purposeful.
Wow.
So why I say that is, you know, ever since I was a very young girl, you know, I've always been involved in community service. You know, when I was 15, I had this program where after school I would go into, I was raised in a very comfortable home, you know, but the way Kenya, our metropolitan is set out is in every, I would call quote unquote suburb or Barbie, they call us Barbs, Barbie neighborhood, there's a slum, a ghetto, like literally around it, you know, so after school, I had a program where I would go and try and do homework with these girls and encourage them, because the teenage pregnancy rate was very, very high. And so I would try and encourage them to graduate, to go into high school, because we're talking at primary level. People were dropping out at 12, 13. You know, it was really sad. So, you know, I did a lot of programs like that, a lot of mentorship programs, and so when I was 18, I was already in that spirit, and I started a political movement called I Am Kenyan, which blew up. We had over 8 million followers in the world. Wow. Yeah, so and you can Google this. That's why I was named one of the top BBC teenagers when I was 19, is because I was the first people in the world to use social media in the way I did for positive change, for a political movement. Nice. Nobody before me and the Coney 2012, nobody before us had used social media in the way we did to rally up change and positivity. And that experience was interesting, because now in Kenya, I didn't realize how dirty the politics was, and how they, like, there are people who we don't even know who control the country. Like, you know how it was just raggedy, and it took a lot. It took everything out of me. You know, I was, you know, in the process of my genuineness and my kindness and my patriotism, you know, I was taken advantage of, you know, sexually and, you know, emotionally and in so many ways that, you know, I would be like, when somebody is trying to do good for the community, you know, to promote love, because you see how there's racism out here. For us, it's ethnic divisions, you know, and it just stops progress and stuff, and just to be met with so much animosity in different ways, even though I had majority support of the public, but the people who I really needed support from, you know, really just shut on me, and it took everything out of me, and I say fuck Kenya. Like, I was like, y'all can rot in your mess, you know, because it would be like a situation where somebody was like, oh, I'm gonna introduce you to the Minister of Justice, and it happened, you know, in a way that was so genuine. He was like, oh, I'm gonna pick you up, let's go and meet the Minister of Justice. And it was very casual, because when I was doing the campaigns, that's how I got to meet people, so I never thought anything of it. And in the process, there was so much traffic. Then he was like, oh, I just leave right here, and there's traffic here, and you know, we can just go in and go ahead and move on. But and he just took advantage of the situation. Then he was like, let's just go wait for the traffic. I live by the way to the Minister of Justice. And you remember, I studied in the US, I was studying in South Africa before, so and the roads were being constructed, so I wasn't really good with the routes or whatever. So he's like, you know, then I said, I don't think that's appropriate to come to your house. Then he's like, it's not appropriate because you're making it seem something, you know, like we just like, you want us to burn the fuel, you want to just like chill and whatever and everything. So as soon as I got to his house help, you know, in Africa we have house help. It's not the way Americans have here, but like his house help brought juice. It's like she was waiting for me, and for me, I took a sip of the juice and I started feeling like, wait, what the hell? But I was also hungry, so I was like, maybe it's because I haven't eaten that I'm feeling light. And the next thing I woke up, I had bite marks everywhere. And then the next day he called me and was like, oh, make sure you get a plan B, you were sweet. And you know, that you know, it took everything from me. And even after that, I still struggled with the country, and it continued like shitting on me. People were stealing my ideas. The government was sabotaging me. They hacked into the system. Like, it took everything. So, you know, it took a long time for me. Now I'm 24, for me to find that passion for my country again, because at my junior year, once I turned 20, I was like,
that's it.
I don't want. So I want to tell my 18-year-old, your passion is valid.
Yes.
And yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Wow.
How about you?
Okay. My second would be avoid people with closed minds who tend to be negative, and don't feel like you have to hang out with people just to prove that you're cool. So it goes back, of course, to, you know, my feeling of having to hang out with people just to be cool, or to just be accepted for who I am. And by the time I got to, when I was 18, you know, I got my first gig as one of the youngest dancers on Soul Train. So I was dancing on Soul Train, and there were a lot of the guys that went there that were on the floor. They were just like from the hoods in LA and stuff like that, but I was on the main stage. So I still felt like I had to, you know, prove myself. And I started hanging out with these guys from Van Ness, and, you know, I started driving them everywhere. I lived probably like an hour away from them, but I still felt like I had to drive them everywhere. I would drive to the hood, I would be hanging. I'm like, wow, I'm finally starting to get accepted, you know, and I didn't realize that they were just using me. Like, they were using me. I got my first ticket. Right when I got my car, a month later, I got my first ticket taking them home. An hour away from where I was on 4th of July, got a double ticket. Speeding and crossing the double yellow lines out of the carpool. Do you think that they helped me? Hell no. And I still took them home. Wow. And the fact that, like, I almost got shot at because, you know, I was hanging with them. They would bring prostitutes in the back of my car, get their dick sucked while they're going inside the house to go get their boys. Wow. The prostitute will hang over me like, you know, I wanted your young ass. Breath be stinking. You know what I mean? And it's like, I went through all of that for what? Just to get, you know, approval, just to feel wanted, or feel like nobody knows about my past. Nobody sees, you know, all the negative shit that I see and I feel in my mind, you know? So I would tell my 18-year-old self, leave the negative people away. understand that these people are leeches and they're actually there for the wrong reasons. And you know it deep down inside, but you want to, you know, you want that acceptance so bad, you know, and it goes back to God made you for a reason. He made you like this for a reason. Just deal with that. Go with the people that actually will bring you up. You guys can bring each other up together instead of, you know, fucking with these bum dudes. Like these dudes were like horrible.
I'm glad you said that because right now that's what is really, really happening, especially on social media. Like this morning I woke up to something, the same thing, where somebody sends somebody a message on the Instagram like, oh, I want to hang out with you. I want to be an artist. I want to help, but I will do anything. The person said like it was like, I don't mind stealing. I don't want defrauding. I don't want being gay. Like he said everything. And I'm like, wow, so you don't mind doing all this just to be cool with the person? Like it's, and these are things that happens especially in Ghana. Like we see all the time. Like people have they're in a good relationship with their boyfriend when they see the other person. Oh, I want to hang out with this person, and they'll start you know doing other things like going with sugar, like you know older men. Just
but that comes with self-love, though. You know what I mean? Like it's unfortunate that that's happening, and of course with social media, it's such an easier way to express that, which is horrible for people like who I was that didn't love themselves and wanted more. So thank God there was no social media when I was young, because God knows if I would even be alive, because I could have been manipulated so easy. I was very naive, and that comes with just loving who you are, accepting who you are, and not letting other people put their opinions on you and what other people might have done to you, not thinking that it's your fault. So it's unfortunate that happens, but it really is the inside of that person.
Right. But I think it's a good thing that you were here, because back home in Ghana, if you're not hanging around a certain type of people or person, you're nobody.
Wow.
Like, it's all about who
you
know. It's all about class. It's all about who you know.
So Gerard, you want to make the point?
I guess I'm up.
If you can find it.
All right, look. My second point was I would tell my 18-year-old self that I should have listened to my mother more. You know what I mean? True. I think like for real, like they said, hard head make a soft ass. My mother always used to say that. And
that's a good one.
That's a good one. It is. You know what I mean? And my ass was getting whooped because I was doing a whole lot that I shouldn't have. So it's like, I think like I should have just listened to her about friends, relationships, choices that I made in school. I said earlier with the tattoos, she was like, why are you getting so many tattoos? Just things that I could have took with me later on in life and not be finding out, 22, 24, now I'm 26. Like, oh, Mom, like what you said back, 10, 5 years ago, right, like, I told you, son. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think that, it's just a hard-headedness that, that came with me, and just me being who I am, like he said, wanting to be accepted, wanting to be in the cool crowd, you know what I mean? Like, I lost my virginity 14, you know what I mean? Like, I straight up, I did it, I wanted to do what it took for me to be accepted by my peers and, be looked at as cool and all of that. And, I didn't have to do that. I just had to be me. But being me, I had to fight, you know what I'm saying? I got picked on, you know what I'm saying? I had to, get into fist fights, jump people, you know what I mean? Just all these things that, what's up?
No, I'm just kind of confused because you said something about you slapping people, but now you're saying you're bullying people. Which one is it? Were you the one bullying, or were they bullying you? Because
all right, listen. So let me break it down to you.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
I'm gonna get you right because you kind of harping stuff. So I'm gonna get you right.
What? Okay.
So first of all, look. At the end of the day, look, I got you. I'm gonna get you right. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? My mother always taught me. She said, listen, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. I went with the philosophy, me being young, naive, you know what I'm saying? Me being, elementary school, stuff like that. I was a kid. I didn't know nothing about the streets, huh?
Your mom said that?
All parents tell their kids that people
baby. Kid.
So you said you should have listened to your mother. Yeah. Don't listen to your mother on that.
So that is the point of the question, dog.
But
what is the point of it?
That's
the point
what he would have
that's the point.
so.
The point. My point is.
Okay, so we'll have to move on to Milan, unfortunately.
Hold on. My whole question, because you throwing snide remarks, and I'm about to get you straight real quick.
You're not getting anybody straight. You don't even know me, but okay.
Hold up. My whole point was, I said to listen to my mother more. I would tell my 18-year-old self to listen to my mother more. Within that, I stated the things I did wrong and what I've been through. As a kid, keyword kid, being picked on and all that as a adolescent, adult, 18, getting into the street, becoming into this persona that really wasn't necessary, seeing as I am an adult now, and it wasn't something I needed to go through. You mentioned the slapping thing, correct. I went through a phase where I was out here thugging. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you want to judge me for that, you want to keep bringing that up. Hold up.
I'm not judging anybody. I was asking a question. Am I not supposed to ask you a question? So I'm not supposed to ask you a question? See, you coming off as a bully right now.
I'm gonna give you a big word because you're trying to be up top and all that. It's redundant. You know what I'm saying? It's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, don't do that.
I've heard that word so many times, sweetie. Try again.
I feel like, honestly, Gerard has an ego problem, and I think that's something that he still needs to work on. I felt like him coming at me like that was so unnecessary because I was literally, to be quite honest, was not even trying to be shady. I was just like, okay, so you said you were the one slapping people, and then now you're saying that you were being bullied. So which story are you telling me? Are you telling me that's what you were doing when you were 18, or are you telling me something else? So I was just trying to get the story, I just wanted him to clarify his story, and it just seemed like he got mad defensive, and it was like, okay, whatever.
Okay, so I'll tell my 18-year-old self to surround myself with the right people. Growing up, I've been around the wrong crowd. But back to what he's saying, just to be cool. But then low-key, they just want me around because of the things they'll benefit. So this happens a lot of time, and I'll just say, just love yourself. Just love yourself. Do not even, if they don't want you, that's cool. Do not surround yourself with anybody that, it's another thing. You can surround yourself with positive people, but if you see that these people are only bringing you down, or maybe they have a bad name, or they have a tag, there's a certain tag associated with them. Do not. You might be perfect and whatnot, but as soon as they see you around them, they will tag you. So, and this will affect you later in the years, because I've been through that experience where I've hanged out with people that I don't hang out with them anymore, and then when people, that's Milan's friends, but those are not my friends now, because I have to dissociate myself with them.
It's
so
like that saying, show me who your friends, I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah, it's true. And it's always true.
Yes,
so
very true.
just surround yourself with
very
the
true.
vibe.
Yes.
Go down.
All right. My next one is almost kind of like yours, but it's stop ignoring the red flags.
I love those red flags on it.
No, I feel like when we were younger, and even sometimes now, it doesn't really have to do with anything about being 18, but when you're in certain situations, you see it. You know things that people do that are just, you question it back, but you either rationalize it in your head, you explain it away, and it always manifests itself down the line. And then you go back and you just be like, I probably should have brought this up when this happened or something like that. Then you start to get mad at yourself. So that's definitely what I would tell my 18-year-old self. Because now, when I see that stuff, I just call it out and jump. I'll be like especially when people lie a lot, I'll call them out. I'll just be like, wait.
Did you
just say your mom? You mean? Different things like that. So calling red flags out as soon as you see them instead of waiting until they met.
Listen, at the end of the day, all of these topics, all of these questions and points that we made, it's very important that we just reflect. The 18-year-old selves that we look back on, made the wrong decisions, didn't do this, didn't do that, but let's salute each other for what we're doing now. You know what I mean?
All right, wait. Before we go, we all want to say this.
Stop raw dogging! Condoms!
Wrap your willy, silly.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.
How am I in the spirits? I don't know what's going on in Kenya. But yeah, spirits? Do spirits even have sex? I don't know. She's so involved in some spiritual activities. In a good way.
Yeah, when I had sex, it's raw lying and now. Because I was raw dogging since I was 18. That's why this is what I would tell myself at the age of 18. So I feel like I went from dog to wolf, and now I'm on lion status.